guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys have been watching me for some time, you know that I talk a lot about interracial dating and interracial relationships as far as a black woman being in a relationship with a white guy or whatever have you. But I feel like I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I've been afraid of how it would come off. But there are reasons why black women choose not to date white men, why they choose not to date outside of their race as a whole. And these are I'm just gonna be going down a list of some of the top few reasons why black women choose not to date white men. Reason number one is an obvious one. We don't want to be fetishized or sexualized. We're more than just a novelty. I feel like that's something that a lot of people believe is on a lot of white guys' bucket list, or like a checklist, oh, screw a black chick. Like, no, it's more than that. We're a lot more than our bodies, and we don't want to be, we want to be more to that than our partner. We want to be more than just what we can provide sexually as a sexual partner. We want to be a partner in every sense of the word. We want to be in relationships that are healthy, and a lot of black women are afraid to get in a relationship with white guys because they don't want to just be some sort of story that he tells his college buddies, or whatever, like, oh, I had a romp with a black chick, or oh my god, I slept with a black chick and it was this, it was that. We want to be more than just a story or a novelty. We want to be, valued in every sense of the word. Cultural differences. We're afraid of, things that come along with being a black American, certain customs and traditions that we have. We're afraid of them not necessarily getting it, or being disrespectful in any way, or whatever. Like cultural differences, namely being a big one is our hair. Our hair. We're afraid that he's not gonna understand natural hair, wigs, weaves, sew-ins, all of that. He's gonna ask a lot of questions that maybe we're not prepared to answer that may put us in an awkward position, like, oh, why do you guys do this, or why do you guys eat this, why do you guys say this, or just little things that we do that have been passed down historically from grandmother to daughter to granddaughter. Little things that make us who we are. We're afraid of having to explain our blackness pretty much. And we're afraid of, like swimming or whatever. One of them is, I read the story where this black woman was dating this white guy, and they were like, they were having like a barbecue or something, I don't know, and they were getting in the pool, and she didn't get in the pool, and they're like, oh, can you not swim? Okay, yeah, I can swim, I just don't want to get my hair wet. Okay, simple as that. Why don't you want to get your hair wet? Because it's a process to do it. That's why. Something you wouldn't understand. So that's one of the things that kind of makes me pause. That kind of makes a lot of black women pause about getting in a relationship with guys, because there are things that we do, things that make us who we are, that they're not necessarily going to understand. Number three, his expectations that are based upon stereotypes. If he expects you to be loud and combative and rude and mean, or a good cook, or to run fast, or whatever, to only listen to rap music, if I'm blaring my alternative music and he's like, oh, I didn't know, I just thought, yeah, because all black people listen to the same music. Or, oh, you can't cook, I thought you'd be good at frying chicken because I'm black. You thought I'd be really good in the kitchen. Or, this little stupid stuff like that, or, oh, I thought you were going to be upset because you know how you guys get. Excuse me? Like stuff like that. You're afraid of being who you are, or doing things that you want to do because you think that it's going to make you sound or look too black. Four is a really, really big reason. You're afraid of others' opinions of you. your family's opinion, like how they're going to take it and how you will be received by his family. And that is a legitimate fear, like of going out and getting, you know, looks because you're with a white guy or because he's with a black girl, you know, getting like hooting, you know, from, or like looks from his friends. Or a lot of black guys say, oh, well, you wouldn't know what to do with that to him. Or, you know, black women kind of cheering you on, or black women turning their nose up, you know, sell out. That sort of thing is a legitimate fear. Or like afraid to bring him over to Thanksgiving dinner because dad's going to be there and dad's going to say something, you know. Or people saying, oh, well, I don't know if he eats this. What does he eat? Or, you know, just stuff like that. You're afraid of how family is going to take you guys' relationship. You're afraid of how the world is going to perceive your relationship. Like, that added to all of the other stuff that normal couples go through, it can be very testing. It can put a strain on your relationship if you're not, you know, a unit, if you're not strong, if you're not really communicating and expressing each other's worries and concerns. But that's really legitimate. Like, you don't know how your family's gonna take it. You're afraid of, you know, how you'll be viewed. You don't want to be called a sellout. You don't want to be told that you're not black enough, or you're giving up on your race, you're giving up on black men because you're dating a white guy. You know, all that stuff is real. And you know, it's not even about race in a lot of cases. It could just be, he's just the guy who I happen to fall in love with, and he happens to be white. That doesn't make you any less black. It doesn't make you give up on the black culture, or, you know, or anything like that. It doesn't mean you hate yourself. It doesn't mean you hate black people. But that's legitimate. That's a legitimate fear that a lot of black women have when it comes down to dating. The last reason, probably the most important reason, history. We're all adults here, and we're not gonna pretend like things didn't happen. Slaves were raped. They were sexually and physically abused by their masters, and in some cases forced to have their offspring. And every time you think about sharing your body or offering your body to your partner, it's deeper than that. It reaches more than just a physical level. It really taps into your psyche as a woman, as specifically a black woman. You think about all your ancestors and about what they went through, and just all the pain and all the hurt that comes along with being a black woman. And it's just hard. It's hard to overcome because, you know, realistically, your partner didn't do those things, but his ancestors did to your ancestors. And that's very heavy. That's a very heavy weight to carry around and to constantly have to think about. Because white people are looked at as the enemy. They're the people who enslaved your people. They're the people who systematically continue to oppress and beat and whitewash and appropriate and take advantage of your people, your culture, and then you choose to lie with one of them. Is a lot to think about. And it's scary because you don't want to be viewed as a sellout. You don't want people to think that you aren't aware of all of the implications that come along with you dating a white guy. But at the same time, I think that it's important, obviously, to know where you come from and to know your history. And I think it's also important to realize that if you choose to date a white guy, you are going to get all of that. All those things you have to think about. You have to. But I understand it's going to be very hard for you to think about all those things, as well as enjoy your relationship and enjoy the guy that you love and the guy that you're with, as long as he isn't insensitive to all of those things. Because I'm sure he's coming into it with a lot of that as well. Like, he doesn't know how you're going to take him because he doesn't want you to look at him and see the slave master or the cop that shot your brother, or, you know, stuff like that. He doesn't want his family to ostracize him or, you know, disrespect you in any way. But in reality, dating interracially, particularly between whites and blacks, is difficult. But I just hope that we can stay aware as well as be able to come together and put aside our differences and say, yeah, you did a lot of messed up stuff. Your ancestors did a lot of messed up stuff. But I know that that's not you. That's not who you are. You don't agree with those. You don't carry those same beliefs. But it happened. Okay, we're all adults. We know it happened. But those are just a few reasons, in my opinion, why black women don't date white guys, and why a lot of black women are hesitant to date white guys. But if I left anything out, go ahead and comment down below. If you agree with anything that I said, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and share it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos. I have a ton of videos in regards to interracial dating, dating advice, and dating period. I will leave a link down in my description box to the playlist down below. And I think that is all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always,